helped me really to connect the dots about just what rural cooperatives mean for Oregon and so forth. 2 years ago, almost exactly, we had, in January, we had a series of 3 legislative days. We occasionally go down, even when we're not in session, we go down for these policy days to listen and have informational hearings. And it was getting ready for the February session of 2012. I think it was January the 19th, 20th, somewhere in that vicinity, and I left the house on a Wednesday morning, and it was snowing in Hood River a little bit. It was forecast to snow more after I left, and sure enough, it snowed all day, it snowed all night. By the next morning, there was probably a good 2 feet of snow on the ground, and some of those folks from Hood River know it. I think I know where I'm going. And my wife, of course, she was, we're empty nesters now. She works in the Dalles, but with all this snow, everything was shut down, so she was housebound. And I had kind of had a little forethought about what might happen. I left my Kubota tractor parked out in front of the house, just in case things got to be really bad. It'd be easy for me to access and come home, but my wife said, geez, I can't get out. What do? I said, well, okay, you know where the key is? So I proceeded over. I was in my office in Salem, looking out the window there at Willamette, and I gave my wife blow-by-blow directions on how to, first of all, start the Kubota, and then what the lever does to make the bucket go up and down, and she proceeded to plow herself out, which I thought was pretty cool. She sends me pictures, and she was so proud of herself and so forth. So that was day one. You know, it's kind of a novelty, being snowed in for the first day, and you know how that is. Well, when the snow stopped, then the freezing rain began. Okay, and we proceeded to have one of the worst ice storms that the valley has had in decades. And there were trees down, power lines down, those. I mean, it was a mess, and the valley was just shut down. So now my wife is not only snowed in, but she's out of power. And for us, being where we are, without electricity, we don't have water because we have a pump that has to get us up to pressure and so forth. So she proceeds to get the wood stoves going. She's melting snow to create water. I mean, being the ideal, pioneer wife. And I'm still down at Salem, warm and cozy, hanging out with lobbyists like Ted and all this kind of thing, So that was Thursday. Friday, it continues on. There's no respite. I mean, we still got freezing rain coming down. So I take about 3 hours to finally get home. I literally have to have a chainsaw to cut my way up the driveway through 6 or 8 trees to get to my house. And then settle in, and it's dark, and it's cold, and there's nothing going on. So I'm there, and we're sitting there, and it's Saturday now, still no hope of anything. So I said, well, I'm just going to figure out, I'll just call the co-op and see if anybody there knows. I know things are bad. I know that they're out doing everything they can possibly do to restore power. I'll just see if I can reach anybody just to get an update on where we're at. So I called the co-op over in Odell, and who should answer the phone but this guy. The manager's there answering phones from people. I mean, if I was in one of those investor-owned utility districts, I'd be talking to somebody in Kansas City who wouldn't have any idea what our circumstances were like. But to me, that just embodied what it is like to have personal service. And that really is what I think you all are about, is service to your communities and service to your members. And you do it incredibly well. And where else can you use a utility for all year long, and then you open up your mail one day, and here's a little check, by the way, for returning some of the profits or the resources and so forth back to members. It just doesn't happen routinely, but it's one of the things that I think us in rural Oregon can appreciate, is a level of service and dedication. So thank you for what you all do, and thank you for this award today. It's a great honor for me, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your time in your conference. So thanks a lot.